You know that feeling, right? That deep down exhaustion that a good night's sleep just can't seem to touch. You can get 8, maybe even 9 hours, and you still wake up feeling like you're moving through water. If that hits close to home, well, let's talk about it.
And I want to be really clear about this right from the start. This feeling, it's not some kind of character flaw. It's not about you being lazy or lacking motivation. It's about the load. It's about the weight of a backpack you might not even realize you're carrying.
So, okay, what is this weight we're talking about? Because it's not just a vague feeling. It actually has roots in how our brains are trying and often struggling to handle the pressure cooker of the modern world.
And this idea, it really changes everything. What we're learning from brain science is that this deep fatigue is actually your brain trying to protect you. It's putting itself into an energy conservation mode. So it's not a failure, you see, it's a biological response. When your brain senses constant, overwhelming stress, it just dials everything down. It's choosing safety over constant action.
In this protective mode, it kicks in for a reason. It's because the very definition of trying, what it means to put in effort every day, has fundamentally changed. It's just a different game than it was a generation ago. And this, right here, gets to the absolute heart of it. Trying used to feel like it was moving you forward, you know? It was about progress, about ambition. But for so many of us now, trying just means surviving. It's the full-time job of just keeping your head above water, of maintaining what you have. You're not climbing a ladder anymore. You're just running on a treadmill, trying not to fall off.
And this is what's inside that invisible backpack. You're expected to be all these things, all at once. Be emotionally aware, but don't be weak. Be financially stable, but also be present for your family. Stay in shape, keep a calm mind, have a social life. I mean, each one of these is a full-time job. And here's the kicker. They often contradict each other. So this isn't just pressure. It's a set of impossible competing demands.
So what happens when you carry this impossible load day in and day out? Well, it's usually not some big, dramatic collapse. It's something much quieter, something a lot more insidious. It's a slow fade. We actually have a word for this, of course, burnout. But I want you to focus on that last part of the definition. Empty and all dried out. That is the absolute core of it. Think about it like this. Stress feels like you're drowning in responsibilities. But burnout feels like the well you're drawing from has just gone completely dry. There is nothing left.
And look, this doesn't just happen overnight. It's sneaky. It creeps up on you. It can start with that honeymoon phase, where you're actually excited and energized. But then the stress starts to set in. Pretty soon, that becomes chronic stress. It's just your default setting. Then you hit full-on burnout. And if you're not careful, that state of depletion just becomes your new normal.
And this is what that quiet fade looks like in real life. It isn't a big breakdown. It's more like a slow erosion of who you are. A kind of numbness sets in. You feel detached, like you're just watching your own life go by. You start to notice, your patience is just gone. You're not curious about things anymore. And then apathy starts to creep in. You're still functioning, right? The bills are paid, you go to work, but on the inside you feel completely hollowed out.
And when you're in that state of quiet exhaustion, the typical advice the world throws at you, it doesn't just feel unhelpful. Honestly, it can feel like a slap in the face.
You know the ones I'm talking about. Just push through it. Wake up earlier. Just be more grateful. You just got to try harder. And maybe it's well-intentioned, but it completely, totally misses the point.
Because all of that advice is based on a completely wrong diagnosis. It assumes the problem is a lack of willpower, when the reality is it's a lack of energy. You're not failing to try. Your entire system is running on empty. It's like telling someone with an empty gas tank to just push the accelerator harder. It makes no sense.
But then there's this other layer, this modern trap. We're told to analyze ourselves, to optimize our recovery, to figure out why we're so exhausted. We turn rest itself into another project. But this constant mental gymnastics, this pressure to understand it all, that can become just one more thing that's draining you.
And really, all of this ties back to a deep, unspoken social rule. The pressure to constantly be proving yourself, proving your worth, usually by just enduring everything in silence.
Because when you're always the strong one, the guy who has it all together, who solves problems without complaining, there is a huge cost. It puts distance between you and the people you love. It disconnects you from what you're actually feeling. And if you're not careful, it can start to build this quiet resentment for having to carry it all by yourself.
And we have to just validate that for a second. There's a real unspoken grief that comes with never, ever being given the permission to not be okay. A deep-seated desire to just stop having to explain yourself, to stop justifying how hard you're trying.
So, where do we go from here? What's the answer? Well, it's not about finding some new trick to try even harder. It's about learning how to set that backpack down, even if it's just for a little while.
And here is maybe the most important mindset shift of all. That feeling you have, that urge to stop, to just pull back, that is not quitting. That is you waking up. That is your body and your mind sending you a very clear signal that the way things are going is not sustainable. It's an act of self-preservation. So the very first step, the simplest one, is to give yourself permission to just pause. Not because you earned it, not as a reward for finishing something, just because it's a necessity. And to do it without that voice in your head telling you that you should be doing something more productive.
And then you have to challenge that little voice in your head that says your value is tied to what you produce. Can you let yourself just exist for a moment without needing to fix anything or achieve anything or improve anything, to simply be?
And finally, if all of that feels like too much, just do this. Come back to the most basic, fundamental thing you can do. Just breathe. It sounds so simple, it's almost a cliche, I know, but it works. It pulls you out of the future, out of the past, and it grounds you right here, right now.
Because maybe in the end, this is the real truth of it. You're not actually tired of the effort. You're tired of the relentless, nonstop nature of it. You're tired of carrying a life that never, ever gives you permission to just set the weight down and rest.